Every day, life silently asks you one question. Are you in control of yourself, or are you reacting to everything around you? Most people never stop to answer it. They spend their lives reacting, resisting, and regretting. Stoicism exists to end that cycle. Stay with this video until the end, and you will learn how the Stoics built calm, discipline, and unshakable strength in a chaotic world. Intelligence does not protect you from becoming foolish. In fact, it often accelerates the fall. Some of the most intelligent people in history didn't fail because they lacked knowledge. They failed because their minds turned against them. They became victims of their own certainty, prisoners of their own ego, slaves to ideas they were too proud to question. Stoicism was born to fight this exact danger, because the Stoics understood a brutal truth most people refuse to face. A sharp mind without discipline becomes a weapon turned inward. This is how intelligent minds become stupid, not suddenly, but slowly, quietly, invisibly. And if you don't recognize the signs early, your intelligence will sabotage your life while convincing you that you're still right. Intelligence without humility is a hidden weakness. Modern society worships intelligence, degrees, titles, credentials, opinions. But Stoics never confused intelligence with wisdom. Marcus Aurelius warned himself daily, if you are distressed by anything external, the pain is not due to the thing itself, but to your estimate of it. An intelligent mind is excellent at creating estimates, stories, explanations, justifications. That's where danger begins. The first stage of mental decay, believing intelligence equals superiority. The intelligent person starts to think, I understand more than others. I see what they don't. I don't need to listen. This is not confidence. This is the birth of arrogance. And arrogance is not loud at first. It's subtle. It whispers, I already know this. This doesn't apply to me. I've thought this through. But wisdom begins with the opposite posture. Epictetus said, it is impossible for a man to learn what he thinks he already knows. The moment intelligence hardens into certainty, learning dies. The ego hijacks the intelligent mind first. An average mind may be ignorant, but an intelligent ego is dangerous. Why? Because intelligence gives ego better tools, better arguments, better rationalizations, better excuses. The intelligent ego doesn't shout, it sounds reasonable. You stop asking questions and start defending conclusions. This is where intelligence becomes stupidity. Instead of seeking truth, the mind seeks victory. Instead of understanding reality, it protects identity. Stoics called this slavery of the mind. Seneca wrote, no man is free who is not master of himself. An intelligent mind ruled by ego is not free. It reacts, it resists, it refuses correction. And the tragedy is this, the smarter the person, the better they are at convincing themselves they're not wrong. Intelligence creates illusions of control. Another way intelligent minds decay, they overestimate control. They believe, if I think enough, I can solve everything. If I analyze deeply, I can avoid pain. If I predict outcomes, I can dominate life. Stoicism destroys this illusion. Epictetus divided life into two categories: what is within your control, what is not. Intelligent minds hate this division. They want mastery over everything. But the more they try to control what cannot be controlled, other people, outcomes, reputation, fate,
the more anxious, rigid, and fragile they become. Intelligence without acceptance becomes mental suffering. You start replaying conversations, overthinking outcomes, predicting disasters, micromanaging life. You call it thinking. Stoics call it torment. Marcus Aurelius said, "You suffer more often in imagination than in reality." The intelligent mind suffers exquisitely because it can imagine endlessly. IV. The most intelligent people overthink themselves into paralysis. Another silent downfall. Analysis replaces action. The intelligent mind sees complexity everywhere. It sees risks. It sees exceptions. It sees reasons to delay. Soon, decisions become exhausting. Action feels dangerous. Simplicity feels naive. But Stoicism is ruthless here. Action matters more than cleverness. Epictetus mocked those who loved theory but avoided life. Don't explain your philosophy, embody it. An intelligent mind that never acts becomes weak. It decays from within. You don't need more insight, you need discipline. VI. Intelligence without character creates sophisticated self-deception. This is perhaps the most dangerous stage. The intelligent person begins to justify poor behavior, rationalize laziness, excuse cowardice, redefine failure as complexity. They don't lie to others, they lie to themselves. And because they're intelligent, the lies are elegant. Stoicism cuts through this illusion mercilessly. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "Waste no more time arguing what a good man should be. Be one. Not explain, not justify, not intellectualize. Be." Stoic wisdom, the cure for intelligent stupidity. Stoicism does not reject intelligence, it disciplines it. A Stoic mind is sharp but humble, rational but grounded, thoughtful but decisive, aware but not arrogant. Stoics train the mind to ask, is this thought useful? Is this within my control? Is this aligned with virtue? Am I seeking truth or comfort? That is wisdom, not knowing more, but being, ruled by reason, not ego.
Intelligence does not disappear overnight. It erodes quietly. Not because the mind becomes weaker, but because it becomes undisciplined. The Stoics understood something most modern thinkers forget. A sharp mind without discipline eventually turns against itself. This is how intelligent people slowly become their own worst enemies. 1. Intelligence without self-mastery becomes arrogance. One of the most dangerous moments in a person's life is not failure, it is early success. The intelligent mind begins to win arguments. It begins to receive praise. It begins to hear, "You're smart, you're different." And something subtle happens. The mind stops questioning itself. Seneca warned of this exact danger. The greatest obstacle to progress is the illusion that we already know. The intelligent person starts believing their thoughts are superior, not because they are tested, but because they are theirs. They stop listening deeply. They interrupt instead of observe. They respond instead of reflect. Stoicism teaches the opposite posture, intellectual humility as strength. Marcus Aurelius, Emperor of Rome, reminded himself daily, "You are not wiser than the universe. You are a student within it." The mind that stops learning begins decaying the moment it believes it has arrived. 2. Overthinking, when intelligence turns inward and eats itself. An undisciplined, intelligent mind does not rest. It replays conversations. It anticipates imagined disasters.
It constructs 10 futures, none of which exist. This is not wisdom. This is mental noise disguised as analysis. Epictetus was brutally clear. Man is not disturbed by events, but by the judgments he forms about them. Intelligent people often mistake thinking more for thinking better. But Stoicism draws a sharp line. Wisdom simplifies. Anxiety multiplies. When intelligence lacks restraint, it creates problems faster than reality can. The Stoic solution is not ignorance, it is mental economy. Ask only one question: is this within my control? If not, release it. A mind that cannot let go will eventually drown in its own thoughts. 3. The trap of being right. Nothing makes an intelligent person stupid faster than the hunger to be right. Being right feels powerful. It feeds identity. It creates superiority. But it also blinds. The Stoics understood that truth is not owned, it is approached. Marcus Aurelius warned himself, "If someone can prove me wrong, I will gladly change my view." That sentence alone separates wisdom from ego. The intelligent mind becomes rigid when it defends positions instead of exploring them. It treats disagreement as a threat. It confuses identity with opinion. Once the mind fuses with its beliefs, learning stops. Stoicism teaches detachment from thought. You are not your ideas. You are the observers of them. The moment you can drop an idea without feeling diminished, you regain clarity. 4. Emotional blindness, when intelligence ignores the inner weather. Many intelligent people pride themselves on logic, but logic without emotional awareness is incomplete. The Stoics never denied emotion, they denied emotion ruling judgment. An intelligent mind that ignores its emotional state becomes distorted. Anger sharpens arguments but dulls truth. Fear accelerates thinking but destroys accuracy. Pride narrows perception. Seneca wrote, "No man is free who is not master of himself." Self-mastery begins with emotional literacy. Stoicism teaches, name the emotion, observe it, do not obey it blindly. The intelligent mind that refuses to examine its emotions will unknowingly act from them while believing it is being rational. That is how smart people make foolish decisions. 5. Complexity addiction, when intelligence overcomplicates life. Another silent failure of intelligent minds is overcomplexity. They add layers where none are needed. They intellectualize simple truths. They confuse depth with complication. Stoicism values clarity over cleverness. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "If something is simple, why make it difficult?" The intelligent mind often resists simple answers because they feel unsophisticated. But wisdom strips away excess. The Stoic asks, what is essential? What is unnecessary? What can be removed? Intelligence builds. Wisdom edits. And without editing, the mind collapses under its own weight. 6. Identity attachment, when intelligence becomes the ego. Perhaps the most dangerous moment is when intelligence becomes identity. I am the smart one. I am the thinker. I am the rational one. Now intelligence must be defended, not used. Every challenge feels personal. Every mistake feels humiliating. Every correction feels like attack. Epictetus warned, if you want to improve, be content to be thought foolish. That sentence alone terrifies the ego-bound, intelligent mind. Stoicism demands separation. You use intelligence, you are not intelligence. When intelligence becomes identity, growth becomes impossible. 7. The Stoic recalibration, returning intelligence to its proper role. Stoicism does not ask you to think less, it asks you to think with discipline. True intelligence serves life, not the ego. It asks, does this thought help me act virtuously? Does it improve character? Does it align with reality? If not, discard it. The Stoic mind is sharp because it is restrained, calm because it is not attached, powerful because it knows when to stop thinking.
How Stoic discipline rebuilds intelligence into wisdom, and how to live with a mind that cannot be manipulated, distracted, or turned against itself. There is a final stage where intelligent minds fall the hardest, not because they lack ability, not because they lack information, but because they refuse to bow, not to authority, not to others, but to reality itself. At this stage, intelligence no longer seeks truth, it seeks self-preservation. And this is where intelligence becomes stupidity. 1. When intelligence becomes a prison. An intelligent mind is powerful, but power without humility becomes a cage. At first, intelligence liberates you. You see patterns others miss. You question assumptions. You think independently. But slowly, if you are not careful, your intelligence begins to defend itself instead of discovering truth. You stop asking, what if I'm wrong, and start asking, how do I prove I'm right? The Stoics warned against this long ago. Epictetus said, "It is impossible for a man to learn what he thinks he already knows." The moment your intelligence identifies with your ego, learning stops. You are no longer thinking, you are protecting an identity. 2. The illusion of mental superiority. Highly intelligent people often fall into a subtle illusion. Because I understand more, I am above error. This illusion is lethal. It creates intellectual arrogance, emotional blindness, moral rigidity. You begin to look down on others, not outwardly, but inwardly. You stop listening. You dismiss ideas too quickly. You assume disagreement means ignorance. Marcus Aurelius warned himself, "Do not be proud of your intelligence. It too is a loan from nature." Stoicism teaches intelligence is a tool, not a crown. The moment you wear it as a badge of superiority, it stops serving wisdom. 3. When overthinking replaces action. Another way intelligent minds become foolish is by overthinking instead of acting. You analyze endlessly. You calculate every possible outcome. You wait for certainty. But life does not reward perfect plans. It rewards decisive movement. Seneca wrote, "We suffer more often in imagination than in reality." Intelligent minds can imagine 10 disasters before breakfast. They can predict failure with frightening accuracy. And so they wait, they delay, they hesitate, until opportunity passes. At that point, intelligence has betrayed life itself. 4. Intelligence without virtue is dangerous. Stoicism makes one thing clear. Intelligence without virtue is not wisdom, it is danger. A sharp mind without discipline becomes manipulative. A clever mind without ethics becomes destructive. A strategic mind without justice becomes tyrannical. History is full of brilliant minds who caused immense harm, not because they were stupid, but because they lacked character. Marcus Aurelius ruled an empire, yet he constantly reminded himself, if it is not right, do not do it. If it is not true, do not say it. Stoicism anchors intelligence to virtue. Without that anchor, intelligence drifts and sinks. 6. The final test. Can you let go of being right?
The ultimate measure of intelligence is not how often you are right. It is how easily you can let go of being right. Can you change your mind without feeling humiliated, admit ignorance without panic, accept correction without resentment? Most intelligent people fail here. Their self-worth becomes tied to correctness. To lose an argument feels like losing identity. But Stoics understood a deeper truth. Truth does not care about your pride. Reality does not negotiate with ego. Wisdom begins the moment you say, "I don't know, but I'm willing to learn." 7. From intelligence to wisdom. So how does an intelligent mind avoid becoming foolish? By practicing the Stoic disciplines. Discipline of perception. See reality as it is, not as your ego wants it to be. Discipline of action. Act according to virtue, not cleverness. Discipline of assent. Question your own thoughts before trusting them. Epictetus taught, "It is not things that disturb us, but our judgments about them." An intelligent mind questions others. A wise mind questions itself. 8. The Stoic conclusion. Intelligence is not the destination. Wisdom is. And wisdom is quieter, humbler, slower to judge, quicker to listen. The truly wise person does not need to appear intelligent. They seek clarity, not applause, truth, not victory, character, not superiority. Remember this: an intelligent mind that refuses humility becomes stupid. A humble mind that seeks truth becomes unstoppable. That is the Stoic path, and that is how you ensure your intelligence never turns against you.
You don't need to escape the world. You don't need to control others. You don't need perfect conditions. You need mastery over your own mind. Because when your inner world is stable, no external storm can shake you. This is not ancient philosophy. This is how strong people survive and rise quietly.